Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is a glorious day, Saturday afternoon, and you're here on the Community Sports Show with me, Noel Knowlesy Johnston, and he's a popular choice now. He's the voice of PSCA, Donnie Bell. Welcome back to the broadcast van, mate.
Yeah, thanks, mate. And you're not wrong. What a perfect day for cricket. I mean, you couldn't get better conditions than this. It's sort of low 20s, the sun is shining, bright, beautiful ground in fantastic condition. We've got a great game coming up for you between Forrestfield and Glen Forrest.
We do indeed. It is round 4, and as always, this match proudly brought to you across the globe here on the Community Sports Show, thanks to our broadcast sponsors. ID Athletic, good to have them back on board for the next 12 months. For all your sporting apparel and club merchandise needs, ID Athletic can help build your identity. And on that note, Donnie, keep your eyes out, mate. We're in the process of redesigning our apparel and putting a new range out to all the viewers there. As well as Vision Decor for your curtains, blinds and awnings. And even hybrid floorings. Vision Decor, Mike and Lisa Ash out there in Malaga, proudly supporting not just us, but clubs across Perth. We thank them for their support. Now, Donnie, you mentioned these two sides both coming off a win last week. Forrestfield, a good, strong performance against Mount Lawley Inglewood, while the broadcast match we saw Glen Forrest, I'm not going to say struggle, but work hard to get over Yokine.
Well, I think it's often the sign of a good team, a team that can win those close ones, and they've had back-to-back, about as close as you can get, a 3-1 run win last week and a 1-run win the week before. And they've managed to get across the line in both of them, working really well together as a team, particularly with the ball in hand. They've been very impressive as a unit. And it's maybe with the bat where they need a few more contributors, because Tarquin Mars was fantastic last week, and the last 2 weeks, in fact, has been probably the key differentiator that's got them across the line. But they'd like to get a few more contributors, like the man on strike here for the first delivery, their captain, Will Maddock.
And he's going to face Varun Manjuran for the opening ball. Here we go. Over to you, Donnie.
Manjuran in for the first delivery. Swinging for a dot ball. Just swung in a little bit there. First up. He's probably been the key wicket taker for Forrestfield so far. Manjuran in again. Just gets on the pad, swinging down leg, maybe swinging a bit too much. Big appeal.
Umpire Simon Wood there, resolute in his denial of that appeal. But you mentioned early, and Varun last week, 2 for 27 off 7, he opened up. And a bit of a challenge for opening batsmen. They like a bit of pace and to start seeing spin early. We'll see how Maddock handles it.
Manjuran in for the third delivery after that big appeal. That one was bang on target. They've hit down the ground, taking off for the quick single, and Maddock off the mark. Bit of energy about early. No.
Well, these two sides, as you mentioned, perfect conditions, no real excuse not to be able to run the outfield. Glorious. If you hit it hard, it'll go far. And singles, as we've learned, all important, getting the runs on the board, as they say.
Well, certainly that having the right-left combination, when you rotate the strike, the bowler's got to completely change up his line. Elijah Liss now on strike to his first delivery, defends that straight back up the pitch to the bowler for no run.
Big shout out to everyone joining us online. Welcome to the Community Sports Show with Knowlesy and Donnie for this round 4 B-grade one-day match.
Manjuran in again. Liss, foolish, hits it just behind square, and he gets off the mark as well. So another single.
Well, I say, Donnie, you pay for the whole bat. The edge is part of the bat. You capitalise when you can.
Yes. Thickish edge, just between the fielders there. He sort of over-pitched a little bit with that one. Manager ran in again, outside off and left alone. And that should be the end of the over. 2 runs from it.
Now there are other matches going on around the Perth Swan competition today in B grade 1 day. It's Mount Lawley Inglewood looking to get on the board for their first win against Yokai and Pilbara. Midland, who have been good, they're sitting in 3rd place. This is probably the match of the round, Midland v Coolbinia West Perth. While Brabham at home also looking for their first win, but I suspect their job will be just that little bit harder against 2nd place Carlisle.
Will be the captain take up the ball, Michael Manachia, for the 2nd over. Just the 1 wicket so far this summer for Manachia. Always a good battle when the captains come up against each other, but he's opposite down the non-striker's end to start this over. Elijah Liss on strike.
You'll be content to watch. And that's a bit more like what I suspect the openers will be looking for, as Cormac White suggests the opening ginger can bat. Well, we'll find out shortly, Cormac. If it's any commentator's curse, you can own that one.
I wonder if Elijah's fan club travelled, if they're going to show up at any stage today, because he had a fair few there last week. There's another one let go through to the keeper.
Oh, it's a long way from Glen Forrest to Forrestfield. They might have a lot in common in their name, but...
Here in for the 3rd delivery of the over. Down leg side and a wide.
Well, the opening wide of the session, umpire Simon Wood in control today. And we've seen across the grades in our midweek show, Donny, some sides will just suffice with 7 or 8 sundries. Some sides giving away a batsman's score, so that's part of the challenge here today for Manachia and his team.
Again, getting a little leg side-ish, but not called wide that time. And again, correct decision from the umpire. And it flicked the shirt on the way through. He's getting a bit off the pitch, coming in and towards the basically the only fielder I think on the onside.
We've got one hiding outside the Vision Decor blind there. Down that deep fine leg there.
Again, squeezes one for a thickish edge for no run. Been a tidy over so far and a tidy start from Forrestfield, because they'll be keen to keep that momentum going that they started last week with a good win. As you said at the top of the show, Liss driving into the covers for no run. That's the end of the over, just 1 run from it.
Good over there from Forrestfield, doing what they need to do to keep these runs down, because last week chasing, they batted out the 40 for 188, so they'll know they can bat, but they'll want to keep those runs down as low as they can, because Glen Forrest with some good bowlers, Struthers in there, you know, he was good last week, 2 for 13 off 8, so interesting opportunity here now for Mandarin.
Yeah, I think Mandarin's been one of they've got a few bowlers that have bowled fairly well, but no one that has really picked up a bag for them so far this season. So they'll be Looking to get some strike as Mandarin, that one hit into the covers, really well fielded. On that occasion, John Paul stuck the right mid out, and it stuck nicely, saving certain runs. Again, gets a bit straighter that time, works it to the onside where there's not as much protection. They get through for the single.
And there's the fielder's swap for the left-right combo that Johnny mentioned before. Just a quick around the grounds. Yokai and Pilbara in at bat, as are Brabham. And in the final match, Coolbinia West Perth also looking to get some runs on the board.
Well, this got a bit of width there, but happy to leave it alone in these early overs. Just trying to take a bit of the shine off the ball, do what openers do. On a bit straighter, plays it on the front foot. Beats the cover and the mid-off comes around to cut it off, and again another single.
Good run in there by Glen Forrest. Just keeping that pressure up on Forrestfield, who are not live scoring, so we'll have to trust ourselves here, Donny, and the scoreboard when we get a chance.
None for 5 at the moment. And hit up by Maddock for no run. Last ball, the Mandarin over. Again, flicks it into the onside, but straight to the fielder. Has a shot at the stumps. I think Maddock got his bat down in time, even if it did hit. But that's the end of the over. 2 runs from it again. Creeping along.
And just a reminder, viewers, if you haven't seen already on our Facebook page, head on over to our competition giveaway, because I'm displaying it here in the broadcast van at the moment, but we have a framed autographed David Boone picture to give away to one of our lucky followers. So just go to that competition page, put Booney, and you're in the draw. It's that simple. We'll draw that next Saturday morning before the broadcast game. And Donny looking on enviously there.
Absolutely, what an absolute ripper. I've got a few signed cricket photos at home on the wall. Manachia in again for Forrestfield, and this watchful once again, leaving it on length more so than anything else.
Well, sign of confidence. Waiting for the balls that he can put away. Elijah Liss.
Manachia's bowled solely at Liss so far. He continues for another delivery, and again outside off, and Liss happy to leave that one alone as well.
Well, we saw the start by Glen Forrest last week. They were none for 40, and then there was a bit of a middle order, or top order, and then middle order collapses. You mentioned consistency there, so important that he stays around, Donny.
Absolutely, just trying to build an innings. They can pick it up later. That one struck on the pads as well. A muted appeal.
Thankfully. I would not have felt good calling that one. Commentator's curse, viewers, is real.
Just trying to keep the pressure on here, Forrestfield. They don't want to allow any sort of release. And that one, he didn't know much about that one, Liss. Did a pirouette after it struck him.
And Bull Maddock at the non-striker's end going, watch the ball, watch the ball. Good pressure here early by Forrestfield, just restricting the run rate.
Yeah, run rate at just 1.36 in the early days, but something that you want to keep in mind in the limited overs cricket. Manachia in once more. And gone! Well, the pressure is built. Liss tried to hit that one over the top. He forgot the ball.
Well, when your top of the mouth gets sunburned, you know that you're not in the right batting position there. Elijah Liss will be disappointed with that. Average of 13. Not quite going to help that move along today. Elijah Liss, the first man out.
Can you get me the streaming link? I can't find it.
So, viewers, this match proudly brought to you for the Perth Swan Cricket Association. It is B Division 1-day grade, round 4, coming to you live on the Community Sports Show with me, Noel Knowlesy Johnston, and Donny, the voice of PSCA, Donny Bell. Well,
Oh, it's on Facebook.
good breakthrough there.
It's not YouTube, right?
Not yet. One of our new friends will upload to YouTube eventually, but we are live on Facebook through the Community Sports Show, thanks to ID Athletic and Vision Decor. We'll just let Tom head back. Good breakthrough there for Glen, for Forrestfield, I should say, Donny.
Absolutely. It's been a good start all around. They've really built some pressure, and that caused the shot there from Liss, and he's back in the sheds.
Well, he'll have 30-odd overs to think about what impact he can have, Elijah, because last week...
Well, it brings to the crease, I think, the key man to this whole match. I mean, Tarquin Mars, he's back-to-back half-centuries, and you know, Glen Forrest, they're probably looking for some contributions from other batters. As
the van attacks me...
But if they can get him cheaply, I think that'll go a long way to helping Forrestfield be very competitive in this game. But first delivery, Mars hits off the hip, and he's got himself a single. So off the mark straight away. End of the over.
Well, you mentioned Donny Tarquin. He's been in some good form, top scored for Glen Forrest the last 2 consecutive weeks. Important that he stays out there at the moment for this side. He's got the captain with him though, so you'd imagine that the experience will prevail. As I reset everything after everything attacked me.
There were clips and all sorts, and
Yeah, clipboards,
everything.
I must have upset someone. Sorry, Tom. I know we're not on YouTube yet. I'll upload it over the course of the next few days.
Again, I was just defending that time. No run.
But that's a great segue, viewers. If you are able to help us with streaming apps and all the scoreboards, get in touch. Mandarin this time worked onto the leg side. They'll come back for 2 good running. Normatic run into the danger end, gets back safely.
Well, he loves. We saw last week anything short, and certainly early on here, anything straying onto the pads. Mars is all over it. Squares up a little bit that time.
Late 4s he hit last week, Tarquin Mars, so 1-6. I suspect on this ground though it is spongy, so you'd want to try and keep it flat.
Yeah, well, it'll be almost 5 overs in and yet to see a boundary.
Well, that's a testimony to the bowling here at Forrestfield, and with the exception of a few in the gap on the leg side.
A lot of faith in the bowlers with the way they have set this field, because as you said, there's not a lot of protection on the onside. So you've got to get it right. That one struck him on the pad, and the finger goes up.
Well, umpire Simon Wood determines the fate of Tarquin Mars of Glen Forrest there and adjudicates him out, leg before, to Varun Manjurun, who all of a sudden, we've got 2 out now, and the cat is certainly amongst the pigeons, as they say. Good to see you online there, Pete Sharp, Coolbinia West Perth loyal servant. Keep us informed if you can, Pete, on the score there at Midland. Although we'll try and get score updates throughout the day. Well, Donnie, that is a problem.
Absolutely is. Tarquin Mars gone cheaply after being the catalyst for the batting innings for Glen Forrest the last couple of times out. So it puts some pressure on some of his teammates. I don't know that he didn't look overly happy with the decision. Thought maybe it might have hit him outside the line, but umpire took his time, adjudicated that it hit him in front. It was definitely going on to hit the stumps. You can't argue that.
And there's some slightly cheeky comments coming in suggesting the umpire's been watching me in the day the figure was straight up. Well, as I say each and every week, if you get hit on the pads, as an experienced umpire, you know where it's going, and the idea for the batsman, Donnie, is to use the thing they call the bat.
I think it's Alex Somas that's come out to the crease. Leaves alone the first one. That's the end of the over. 2 runs from it and a wicket.
Big shout out to Jacob Burns who made that reference. Congratulations to Jacob and Ali on the birth of their new child. Future of Middle Swan Cricket Club. It's looking good, popping out babies left, right and centre. I'll get in trouble for that one later back at the club. But good news is the Play HQ scoring is up now in this match, but around the grounds, Yokine, after 5 overs, none for 17. Brabham also having a bit of a problem. They're 1 for 9 against Carlisle. Well, Coolbinia West Perth, a good start against third placed Midland in that match of the week. They're none for 30.
Very good start. Forrestfield continuing to pile on the pressure. Outside off, and a little bit too far outside off for wide is given. So far he hasn't had too many runs coming off the bat, Michael Manachia. 2 wides, but only 1 run off the bat so far as that one squeezed off a thick outside edge square for no run.
And I'm pretty sure you're right there, Donnie. It is Alex Somas at the non-striker's end at the moment for Glen Forrest, so tough job for him.
Puts some more pressure on the captain too, I think, as he squeezes that one to the onside. Plenty of room there. They think about the second. They're coming back, and the misfield will see them through comfortably. So 2 runs there.
Well, the good news there for Bitson Baby, who's been the talk of the town, is that I came back to film the run, so that misfield Bitson was still there, but not caught on camera.
We're just getting a little bit extra protection now on the onside. Man coming across, going behind square to join the man at mid-wicket. And Chia in again and left alone.
Still inside the opening 8 overs for those new to Perth Swan cricket. Fielding restrictions for the first 8, no more than 2 outside the circle, and really at the moment I've got a deep fly slip and that's it. All the rest locked inside, waiting for the chance.
Straying onto the pads, but just hit towards the mid-wicket. The fielder gets it off his own bowling, flicks it up to the mid-wicket fielder. Keep them alive. No run. So another tidy over so far. They're in rebuild mode here at the moment. Top of the table, Glen Forrest. Again, just stepping forward and across really there, Will Maddock, trying to get that one onto his pads, but gets a bit of a leading edge straight back up the pitch. Last delivery now of the 6th over. Back up the pitch to the bowler. No run. End of another one. 3 runs from it. 2 for 11 after 6.
Big appeals here at Hartfield Park for this round 4 Perth Swan Cricket Association B Division 1-day grade match between Forrestfield and Glen Forest, but a couple of other matches going on around us, Donny. The local loan company, first grade, out on the main field there. We'll get a score update from there in a little while, viewers. Right now, though, Glen Forest, as you said, Donny, battling for survival.
Yeah, the opening bowlers have bowled well in tandem. Mandarin continues. Into his 4th over. He's 1 for 6 at the moment. Yeah, both the opening bowlers going for under 2 and over. It's not bad going, no.
Well, diving effort there. Races away. And judging by the fielders, there's your first boundary of the match. It goes to Alex Somas. Last week, 8 not out off just 9 balls, Alex, so he was hoping for a bit of support from Jago and Struthers.
His shoelaces come undone. He's called for a bit of assistance from the square leg umpire.
It was that quick first single.
The next one left alone outside off stump. Somas on strike. Mandarin in again. And just defensively played.
Well, Donny, I mentioned the game there for the local loan company first grade out on the main field. Forrestfield chasing 201 for victory, have not started with much glory, 2 for 21.
Bit of work to do. As we see another dot. Mandarin, last ball of the over. Somas in hitting into that cover region. Straight to a fielder. 4 runs from that over. 2 for 15 after 7.
This round 4 match proudly brought to you thanks to Vision Decor and ID Athletic, with some help from Ashby Farrell, White Arch and Barner Construction. A big thanks, while I have a chance, to Josh Stork, the owner of Barnard Construction, a Forrestfield man who I've shared many an adult beverage with here over the years, donating to the MS ride that we're doing in 2 weeks' time to raise money for MSWA. So thank you, Josh, and thank you, Barnard Construction. If you want something big built, build it with Barnard. Plenty going on there.
Maddock again. Leaving that one alone. Just outside off stump. Good delivery. He's ticking along nice and slowly as well. 4 off 15 so far.
Well, it's important for his side here that he stays out there. Need to bat out these 40.
That's some good footwork there at mid-wicket. I'm not sure why he chose that method to stop the ball, but
Proved effective.
yeah, he did the job.
See, if that was me, I would have stood on it, face planted it into the ground and it run away for 4.
Looks like Sibin Matthew might have just been told he's not far away from having a bowl. He's rolling the shoulders over.
Well, that's the advantage here for Forrestfield. We saw them last week use 6 different bowlers, so they've got the depth there. With that breeze just picking up, who knows?
Not really finding the middle of the bat there, Silas, but never in danger. Thickish outside edge. Just keeping that pressure on, outside off line, and heavy protection there, so no run again. After losing a couple of early wickets, of course, preservation becomes key. No, you want to make sure that you get the 40 overs, because if you get there, then you're going to build a somewhat competitive score.
You're right, Donny, and at the moment, I think that's feeding into the minds of Glen Forresters in another over in the book. I think that's the 8th.
That's 8 done, yes.
So
2 for 16.
Yeah, fielding restrictions now open up. Be interesting to see what Forrestfield do here. They've bowled tight, as you mentioned a couple of times, Donny, to a preset field. Do they open it up now, or do they stick with what they're doing?
Well, I've got to say, if I'm Forrestfield, I want to keep the pressure on. You probably don't want to be putting too many fielders back and allowing singles and rotation of the strike and whatnot. But we'll see what they do. It's up to the captain. Michael Manachia will have some decisions to make. I think we do have a change in the bowling. As guessed at.
And that's why he's such a legend there, Donny, and it's going to be Linson Ketchapilli coming into the attack here for Forrestfield. Interestingly, didn't get a bowl last week, coming in
Edged
over here.
and gone.
Batsman Will Maddock doesn't even look at the umpire. He knows. And bowling changes, well, they can bring a change of fortune, and unfortunately for Glen Forrest, the fortune favours the brave, as Forrestfield now have Glen Forrest 3 down. Linson Ketchapilli getting the wicket of Will Maddock caught I'm going to say by Akil Babu with the gloves behind the stumps there. Wow.
Well, 3 for 16 now. It's they're in a lot of trouble. He'd worked pretty hard out there. Had Will Maddock for 5 runs, 5 off 17, but couldn't really get going. And then next one taken very, very well by the wicketkeeper, I must say.
Yeah.
We might have to...
I'm going to speculate that this is Dan Twomley coming out. Oh no, Ben Morgan, wearing the 37, of course, our survivor. And what fitting background training that is to be on Australian Survivor, and now his team in trouble. He needs to do exactly that. Let's hope the lessons he learned have come to the fore here, Donny.
Well, we saw last week that he can certainly clear the fences, so maybe it might be a counter-punch type scenario. We'll see if he does try and defend like the rest of his teammates, or if he takes a different approach. Try and put the pressure back on the opposition.
Well, Alex Somas and Ben Morgan, 2 relatively fresh batsmen in the centre for Glen Forrest.
Well, Morgan's first delivery. Outside off and left alone.
Cautious. Wide ball called there, Simon Wood saying you can tempt him, but that wasn't even in the zone of interest.
I think that Forlinson Catchapilli, his first wicket of the summer, so he'll be pretty happy coming off his very first delivery.
And on camera, what more could you ask?
On driven. Then well fielded there by the cover fielder for no run. Plenty of torque and energy in the Forrestfield. Again, defended, watchful, cautious there, Ben Morgan. Trying to win the mental battle as much as anything else. Catchapilli in again. Defended. No run.
Well, Ben Morgan with the task ahead of him, 18 off 37 last week. He is the vice captain, or one of 2 vice captains in this side. They need him now.
Again, bang on the stumps. Accuracy paramount. 1 run and a wicket from the first over from Linton Catchapilli.
Take that any day of the week. I'm sure Forrestfield now in a commanding position here.
They're 3 for 17 after 9 overs.
Well, I can't do much maths, but I know that's not a good run rate either.
So 1.89 the run rate, and projected score, if they do keep at that rate for 40, is 76, which I don't think will be enough.
Well, it's interesting you mention that, because on Wednesday night when Australia are playing Netherlands, just as we finished the show, I'll come back to that in a moment.
Thomas edges through the cordon. It run down towards the rope and should be 4 and is. It doesn't matter how you get them. They all count the same.
No, they do. And to finish that off, the three of us, Paul Lohman, Dave Peace and I, saw that Netherlands going into the bat, chasing 400, and I said, what score do you think they'll get, fellas? And they said 180, 120. I said they'll be lucky to get 100. So
bang on the money, Nosey.
That one goes out to Jacob Burns. I do know what I'm talking about sometimes. Important I emphasise the sometimes.
Well, you tell everyone about it when you're right and tell no one about it when you're wrong.
That's why people say I could be in politics.
Well, here, 3 for 21. 9.2 overs gone. The only boundaries so far are from the man that's on strike, Alex Somas. He's hit both of them. Tommy finds the fielder. A short third man there.
Coolbinia, West Perth, they've lost their first wicket, 1 for 45. Grab them 2 for 29, and Yoko and Pilbara 1 for 27.
Continuing to bowl with good accuracy. That one just defended.
Important set of 10 overs here for both sides. Forrestfield looking to get to drinks with using your numbers there, Donny. I reckon they'd be happy to get 45-50 by drinks. Set up the second half, try and get a run at over 100. But that's a long way off at the moment.
Certainly is. One delivery shy of being a quarter of the way through this innings. Manichia just gets one to beat the edge. 4 runs from that over.
Well, Somash just giving Forrestfield something to think about there as he swings at that final ball. Earlier wickets, Will Maddock, Elijah Liss, and form batsman for Glen Forest, Tarquin Mars. All out. Currently it's Alex Somas and Ben Morgan with the bat in hand for the visitors. Morgan on strike.
Yet to get off the mark as he shadow bats a big pull shot. I don't know whether he'll pull that out at any stage in this over, but he's thinking about it. It's in the mind.
Well,
he gets the right length, see if he takes it on.
Visualisation.
The first one, definitely not there to pull. Foolish delivery. Gets on the front foot defensively. Another dot. Billy. And again to Morgan. That one is short. It's there. He swung. There's an appeal and he's
Walking.
Gone.
Yeah.
He's unhappy.
As the experienced man I am with the trigger finger, as Jacob Burns alluded to, even from back here I thought I heard the sound. Shot selection. Well, you said he visualised it, Donny. I'm not sure that's what he envisaged. It's Ben Morgan, the last man out now for Glen Forest.
Well, he's gone for a duck, 6-ball duck. Sorry, 7-ball duck. Ketchapilli has his second wicket, so he's 2 for 1 at the moment.
Always a positive when you've got more wickets than runs given away. 4 for 21 confirmed on Play HQ. You want to keep up to date with the scores. We'll mention them, but won't post them. So, working on that tech. If you can help us with overlays and scoreboards, love to hear from you.
And it's the young fella, Tom Hatch, that has made his way out to the middle.
Well, the younger version of the wild man, Bryce Hatch.
I think he made a half century here in the week playing under 15, so he'll have a bit of confidence with the stick in hand. Hopefully he can carry that in to the Division 1 day grade. His team needs him.
If ever a statement was made that doesn't need fact checking, that's it right there. 100% truth, Glen Forrest. Well, early afternoon on the cards here, Donny.
On top of the table, unbeaten. Came into this game as heavy favourites. But they're under a heap of pressure right now.
Well, Tom Hatch, 12 off 23 last week. We'll be looking to reverse those numbers, no doubt about that.
It was a short delivery wide outside off stump, and it just seemed to stick in the pitch a little bit, and Hatch just had to wait on it a bit longer than he wanted to.
No, it definitely came on slow there, didn't it? Ketchapilli comes in again. Swing, no connect. But the important part there for Forrestfield is that Tom Hatch was interested in having a swing, and I'm not sure that's the best option just at the moment.
Wicket maiden for Linson Ketchapilli.
So that would make him 2 for 1 off 2.
Correct. He's going all right.
That's pretty good. Well done, Linson. Couple of changes to the sides that we saw last week in for Forrestfield. Praveen Verghese and Alias Scaria, while for Glen Forrest, Dan Twomley has come in for Ben Wagland. So it's going to be Sibin Matthew coming into the bowling lineup now for Forrestfield. 1 for 16 off 4 last week.
Matthew, his second delivery of his first over. The leading edge from Samus.
Well, these bowling changes, Donny, it's almost like it's the same bowler, just on the spot, up on the toes.
Bowling well to a plan so far. That one outside off, and again they go up. Umpire says no.
Knowlesy agrees with the umpire on that one. The crowd next door thought so, but they make their own appeal. Umpire Simon Wood adjudicates no contact with the bat on that occasion. And two decades of umpiring. I called the first one. I thought I heard it. That one I didn't hear.
Well, Matthew Seven, he didn't even turn around and look at the umpire. He just ran straight over to celebrate, and was very surprised with the no decision. But a bit of a mixed up. The last thing they need is a run out.
Well, pressure starting to mount here, no doubt about that.
That's edge, caught it, slip, well taken, and they are in all sorts of trouble.
Well, if at first you don't succeed, kids, that's a life lesson right there. Try again. And, well, Forrestfield, you can hear the chat. They're up and about here. 5 down now, Donny, I think.
Yep, 5 for 21.
Well,
Alex Somas gone for 8 off 22. Matthew Sibbon gets amongst the wicket takers.
but it is going to be Dan Twomley to come out and join Tom Hatch in the centre. Into the side, no pressure on Dan today, but into the side. Your side's 5 down for 20. If ever a knock is needed, now is the time.
And that's a dot to finish that over.
Wiser heads prevail.
No, another wicket maiden.
Well, if you're going to make a statement on camera, this is certainly being heard loud and clear by all those across the globe currently with us. Glen Forrest on top of the table, but on their knees at the moment against 6th place Forrestfield.
Well, 2 batters at the crease as well, without a run to their name. As Hatch tries to rectify that, but finds the square leg fielder. No run. Five for 21. Just beyond the 12 over mark as Hatch leaves another one alone.
That was well watched. Yoko Pilbara up against Mount Lawley Inglewood, currently 2 for 37. Brabham also 2 down for 33. 1 for 59 for Coolbinia West Perth. But the tail here in the B division, 1 day grade at the moment, Glen Forrest, 5 for 21.
Vincent Cacciapelli's putting on a bit of a masterclass here. Oh, that one had a bit more width. He wanted to take it on and the wide is given.
Well, extra runs will be handy today. We were talking about sides giving away sundries. Forrestfield have been tied in that department so far.
Slow ball. And defended once more. Tom Hatch, he's been watchful, but we have seen him be willing to take it on. He takes on another one, gets the shortish delivery. Doesn't time it at all well. It's really an edge that runs down. 2 fine leg, and they're going to come back for a third. Twomley striding out. And they get 3. Valuable runs.
Very at this stage. Never shows in the scorebook how you get them, so 3 runs to Glen Forrest, as you mentioned, Donny, much needed at the moment.
New batter, he'll get just the 1 delivery here, and once again leaves it through to the keeper. End of the over, 4 runs from it.
Well, breeze starting to pick up here at Hartfield Park for this Perth Swan Cricket Association Round 4 B Division one-day grade match. Proudly brought to you thanks to our broadcast sponsors, ID Athletic and Vision Decor, with support from their friends Ashby Farrell, White Arch and Barner Construction. We encourage you to support them just as we encourage all the Glen Forrest fans to support their team. They're down but not out.
Well, that's it. They're chipping a chair at the moment. 5 wickets down. Only 25 on the board. They've been backs up against the wall since pretty much this game started. A couple of blokes out in the middle fighting to revive their team's chances. Another edge. Falls safely.
Elias switches sides with the left right. No,
it's moving the fielders around a little bit.
Bringing in another slip, and that's a sign of confidence this deep into a one-day game. And as soon as he moves them off the leg side, what happens?
Well, it could be another 3 here. Should be another 3. They stroll through for it.
Just straight a little down leg there. Batsman able to work it away.
That's the first runs off the bowling of Matthew. Want to keep that second slip in there. They do move the field around a little bit. Man going in front of square on the onside. Well outside off, and that's a wide.
That's the chaos ball.
Matthew in again. Trying to get the line right, and that one. Well, he got the last one swung away and kept swinging away. That one nips in and goes over the top of leg stump, cuts him in half.
Well, no real opportunity for the Glen Forrest batsman here, Dan Twomley, on strike to just get comfortable. Going left, going right.
And that was very tentative. He didn't know what that ball was going to do and just dangled the bat out there. Again, beats the outside edge. That's what the bowling of Forrestfield has really done. It's just got into the head. And that one struck him on the pad. Think about it.
Lots of movement there. But you've got to admire the passion. You're allowed to ask, and if you don't ask, you don't get. But Forrestfield told no by umpire Simon Wood. That's a disadvantage when you're a bowler and you're moving them left and right. And
you've got to get them a long way back before the umpire will be comfortable. That one underneath edge. On the bounce to the slip fielder, end of the over, 4 runs from it.
Well, starting to put a couple of runs together here, Glen Forrest now ticking along. Scoreboard showing 5 for 29 off 14, Donny.
That's what I've got.
Matic out for 5, Elijah Lees for 2. Tarquin Mars there was not sensational, but given the LB. Rich Somas and Ben Morgan. Well, Tom Hatch and Dan Twomley, the men out there at the moment. Dan Twomley still on 0.
And Hatch on strike. He's got a couple of 3s in the last few overs. So he's finding some space and forcing Twomley to run those 3s. Cacciapilli continues into his 4th over. He's 2 for 5 at the moment. Again, well directed. Just outside off, swinging away slightly, full. No run. That one beats the outside edge, and the field hands in heads. Once again, these two, it's important that the two batters are there at drinks now.
100%, Donny, because, well, you need a base on which to build, and at the moment it's built on quicksand here for Glen Forrest. They're going down quick.
That's it, got to find some sort of foundation. Here at the home of the Hawks, that one wide called. Take every free run they can get, because, as you say, there hasn't been too many. They've been fairly disciplined with their bowling.
Good to see. Good to have you with us, Pratik. Always a good day. And I can tell you, Donny, out on the main field, Forrestfield, chasing 201 against Bayswater, currently doing a Glen Forrest 4 for 32. As another appeal gets turned down by umpire Wood.
It was down leg side. It must have flicked something for it not to have been called wide.
Well, umpire unfazed, doing a great job. If you'd like to become an umpire, Swan Cricket Association currently recruiting. Cacciapilli comes in again, this time worked into the cordon for a dot to finish off the over.
Just the one wide from it. Five for 30 after 15.
Ask me the run rate, Donny. I can do that one. Just a reminder, as I do each and every week, viewers, stay in school, learn your maths, you never know when you might need it. All those years ago, I never thought I'd be in a broadcast van having to do multiples of 6 or whatever it might be.
That's where I cheat and use technology now.
I still remember how to do long division.
Good wicket keeping there, just that diving to one that was swinging down leg side from Sibin Matthew.
Well, push back. Nice tight bowl in there. Twomley, no room to move.
Wondering how long Twomley's going to put up with it. He doesn't look like a bloke that's built for a patient innings.
Or many quick singles. Sorry, says me. I don't think I ever ran a quick single.
He looks like he might like that sort of shot. Just leans back on that one. Pushes it through the point region for a couple, and he's off the mark. He'll breathe a sigh of relief off his 10th delivery.
Get that out of the system. Shake it off, reset.
On the front foot, and again the footwork in the field allows him to get through for the single.
Breeze starting to pick up here. Flowing right to left across the screen here. Another over in the bag as we approach the first drink session at 20.
Well, 33 on the board after 16. 3 off that over. We've got Hatch at the crease. He's on 6 off 18. And Twomley, 3 off 11. Got off the mark during that over. And you got all 3 runs from the Sib and Matthew over. As he finishes his 3rd over, he's 1 for 7. All 4 bowlers used so far, very, very economical. As you can probably guess from just looking at the scoreboard.
Doing their job well. Speaking of doing their job well, at the moment in the local loan company first grade replay for last year's grand final, Carlisle all out last week for 205. Les Murdy Mazenod, who went 7 grand finals in a row, currently 4 for 26.
Well, we've got another bowler into the attack. Elias Scarrier.
Into the side this week, Elias. Not got the most economical bowling figures there, 46.7, and in amongst that he's got a best of 3 for 28, so he'll either get hit for a lot or take a couple here.
And I don't think he's bowled so far this summer. That one's full on the pads, whipped away. That struck very nicely, timed beautifully. Down to the fence for 4.
Well, that's definitely the preferred option and outcome there for Glen Forrest. Create some doubt in the incoming bowler's mind.
As I think Forrestfield will be hoping that's just a loosener. Nice ankle high full toss on your pads. That's pressure relieving. First delivery from Scarrier. He trots in again with his interesting run up. That one's off the pitch.
No ball.
No ball.
Well, first one of them getting some words of encouragement from his teammates. But this is when I used to get brought on, put them all around the place, and batsman's eyes light up, not sure where it's going to go. Interesting here that the field is now, as Scaria just asked his skipper Manchuria, or Manachia I should say, just to drop someone out.
Newton Everest just going out. About 3/4 of the way to the fence. The offside. Well, that one's an inside edge onto the pads, so I'm not sure what they were appealing for. It was a big inside edge.
They were just happy that the... I've got a big cheeky smile on my face. They were just happy it was on the pitch. Drink break coming up at 20 viewers. The players will head off. We'll hang around, but we'll just do the commentary to not much during the break as we reload our refreshments.
Drops that short. Pulls that one out. It's going to drop short of the boundary. The pitching wedge will see it prop in the grass and they have to run them, so they get 2.
Well, the idea was right there. Twomley not quite able to connect as well as he would have liked. And as you mentioned, Donnie, pitching wedge on this surface is not ideal.
No, it's the kind of length grass where you say there's plenty of room in the air. That one wide. Did bounce on the pitch, so that one is called as such.
Well,
Area in again. outside off, and that one not called wide, and just inside the line for a dot. I'm just trying to give Scarrier a couple of overs here before drinks. See if he can buy another wicket. Another wide. Can't quite get out of this over.
Oh, interesting you mentioned that, looking at the length of some overs in the ODI the other day. We're almost as long.
That one's full and eyes lit up. Bit of a mix-up between the field. They'll get through comfortably for the single.
Yeah, plenty of time. Good crawling.
10 off the over.
Well, Glen Forrest saying thank you very much to Elias Scaria. I believe has come into this side courtesy of the Kelmscott team. So he'll be working hard to keep his place. Looking around the grounds in the other B Division 1 day grade matches, Yoko and Pilbara 3 for 44. They're up against Mount Lawley Inglewood. Brabham 2 for 55, starting to make them fight back there. Well, Kulbinia West Perth against Midland 1 for 77.
Sibin Matthew continues here into the 18th over. And to Tom Hatch, who's on 6 runs. Daniel Tomley, the first man to get to double figures. He's moved on to 10 down the other end.
They need a Maxwell in their team at the moment.
Doesn't everyone? Beats the field there, Hatch. You're going to look to run at least a couple. Field will keep that to the 2. Spits and Baby gets to the ball.
Field makes their adjustments.
Oh, that's nicked it and gone.
Yep. Well, I might just pull up a chair here, I think, Donnie, because at the moment, Glen Forrest, 6 wickets down before drinks in the opening session. They have some soul searching to do here. Third or fourth wicket taker for Forrestfield.
Well, that's the second for Matthew. So four different wicket takers. He's 2 for 9.
6 for 45, Glen Forrest. And the batsman now, Tom Hatch, 8 off 22. It's going to be Connor Van Zetti coming into the lineup now. Well, he'll want to build on what he started last week. Just 2 off 11 for Connor. So there's an opportunity to be a hero for your side. This is it.
Top score this year of 21. You'll want a bit more than that, I'd think. But if you can get that, it'll be helpful when you look at the total at 6 for 45. Vanzetti on strike.
If they get to 7 before drinks, I'll go through what happens, because Forrestfield well in control here at the moment. Seems to be a day for it, Donny, because looking at the ground, Joko in 4 down now, as are Brabham. Coolbinia West Perth still just the 1 down, so performing well there. And interesting, Coolbinia West Perth currently in 4th place on the B Division ladder, up against 3rd place Midland, and this game being played at Coongamaya Oval. Home for Midland at the moment.
Good start there for Coolbinia West Perth.
So it looks like they're going to bring Manjaran back on.
Scarrier just gets the 1 over.
Cricket, it's a harsh lover.
Daniel Twomley will be disappointed he didn't get a second.
He might get a chance here as that one a bit loose to start with.
Was that given wide or?
It was a wide, yes.
Just looked away at the key moment. Your 5th over from Andrew, his first spell. 4 overs, 1 for 10. Was brought on to try and get this 7th wicket.
Well, not much at the moment that Glen Forrest can really do about this situation. Just need to bat it out and rack up a few dots here. Find the singles where they can. And as I say, that one worked on the leg side. And there's 2 more. To Dan Twomley.
It's not often you talk about the standout batter being a guy on 12, but so far he certainly has been.
We mentioned at the top of the show, Donny, the need for Glen Forrest to build on what they've been doing and get a bit of a base, and I think at the moment that's proven beyond them. Twomley moves to 12. No comments in the chat about them not giving that one. If his finger went up, I would have copped it, I reckon.
Well, that's the end of that over. 3 runs from it. 6 for 48 with 1 over before drinks.
Well, should the wicket fall during this over now, it should be that we'll take drinks. Challenge here for Glen Forrest to get through 6 balls and reassess what they're at, because you mentioned 78 before, or 76, thereabouts. I think they'd almost put their hand up and say, we'll take that.
Van Zeddy on strike for the final over before refreshments. 7 Matthew continues. Outside off, just late cuts. Shorty's 3rd man for no run.
Safely into the ground. Big shout out to everyone online. This match brought to you thanks to ID Athletic and Vision Decor.
Again, beating the outside edge there, Matthew. He's told very well so far. 4.2 overs, 2 for 9. Figures I'm sure he would have taken at the beginning of the day. One full, outside off and left alone. Again,
oh dear, is that the shot you play at this time of day, Donny?
Not at all.
Not at all indeed.
It just hung out there and he couldn't help himself. I think he even knows it. As soon as he played it, his head went back. Just a couple of deliveries before drinks. Defends that one. One ball to negotiate. 6 for 48. Plays it back up the pitch and we'll finish with a maiden as we head to drinks. It's been an interesting first half of the first innings.
I think interesting is a good choice of descriptor there.
It's been very difficult for the unbeaten Glen Forrest team.
Well, looking around the grounds, Donny, I mean the score here I think 6 for 48.
Yep.
Looking around the grounds, we're no lone wolves here. Yokai and Pilbara currently 5 for 54 against Mount Lawley Inglewood. Brabham 5 for 63. Glen Forrest we know are in a world of trouble at 6 for 48. And Coolbinia West Perth against Midland. The match of the day we said Coolbinia West Perth just 1 down for 86.
Yeah, well they're the outlier, aren't they? Coolbinia West Perth building a nice knock in a third versus fourth battle there. But, they're probably not what we expected here, though, Nilesy. It probably came here with Glen Forrest as the heavy favourites, but Forrestfield found a bit of form last week, as you mentioned, and they've continued it into this week. That was their first win last week, so
confidence all about it. And reality is, with the early dismissals of Les Maddock and Tarquin Mars for just 3, that was a big wicket there for Forrestfield to get Mars.
Well, we talk about Glen Forrest, and you know they could have the exact same record as Forrestfield when you think about it. Tarquin Mars, the difference in both those two wins, where they won by a solitary run and 3 runs last week in the broadcast game.
David Peace just lurking around the grounds, catching up with Donny Bell. Good to have Dave on the show on Wednesday night. Just a reminder, each and every Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, join myself and this week Peasy and a surprise special guest, because we haven't hit anyone up yet, for 7 o'clock Wednesday night as we look at the reviews across the grades. And there's another match on next to us, Forrestfield. Well, they're doing all right here. They've got 6 for 48, but next door with the bat, they're in a bit of hurt. James Alexander and his team there, 5 for 33 in the local loan company first grade. But Swan View, 5 for 67 as well. That will be a tough one.
5 for 85 now.
5 for 85, score update there. Nothing like real-time score updates.
Well, just in the the Sheffield Shield game. Cameron Bancroft making another century. Got out for exactly 100, so got his 100 and then
Said that all
got out straight away. But WA,
Australia 118 off 10.
Australia having a great start against New Zealand. 118 off 10, we've just been told.
Kia ora to all our New Zealand fans out there.
See you Wednesday.
Alright. He's loving me and leaving me. Well, not the first person in my life, but luckily I've got one who loves me and stayed with me. Shout out
That's
to
all we
Mrs.
need.
Knowlesy. If I start calling her that, I might cop a bit of flack, so my lovely wife Sue.
Just having a look at the World Cup game. David Warner 69 off 43 and Travis Head 62 off 32. So Travis Head back into the team. He's picked up right where he left off.
No concerns about his injury.
Glen Forrest making their way back out to the middle.
Reluctantly, I suspect.
They'd love that sort of knock here themselves.
So the two batsmen out there, Dan Twomley and Connor Van Zetti for Glen Forrest, as we get set to resume this B Division one-day grade match, round 4, coming to you on the Community Sports Show for the Perth Swan Cricket Association, thanks to ID Athletic and Vision Decor. And just having a look, Donny, what have we got in terms of batsmen, bowlers?
Bits and babies coming into the attack by the looks of things.
Well, he was a favourite on Wednesday night, Bitson. 2 for 39 off his 8 last week.
We turn Twomley facing. He's 12 off 24. The top scorer for Glen Forrest so far. And suddenly he's the key man.
Good in.
Resume after drinks. 6 for 48. 20 overs to go, and Glen Forrest, I'll be hoping there's 20 overs to go. Baby floats that first one up. Hit back up the pitch. No run. Getting plenty of air. Got to that one on the full, but hits it straight to the cover fielder.
Well, flight with the breeze picking up here at Hartfield Park.
And gets that one down to the deep mid-off for a single. Gets off strike. Moves to 13 off 27 as Twomley.
Job now for Van Zetti to hold his end up.
He's still searching for his first run. 8 deliveries he's faced so far. And beaten with the flight there. A bit of an appeal and quickly turned down. And Zeddy plays that one back up the pitch to the bowler.
Oh, talk about giving it plenty of flight. Well, that's the third time today, Donny, we've seen the fielders try and use their feet to stop it. I might suggest that Forrestfield need to find a chiropractor in amongst all their sponsors and club mates, because bending at the hip seems to be a problem.
Well, that's the 50 brought up with that single for Van Zetti. Gets off the mark and brings up the 50. 6 wickets down. 21 overs gone. They got there.
Never in doubt. Never in doubt. Well, we saw some scores across the grades in our Wednesday night review show. that were less than 50, so first marker there for Glen Forrest is achieved.
Just trying to pick up who the bowler is down the other end. Some changes at both ends. And nicked straight to first slip. And another wicket falls. Vanzetti goes for one.
I have a feeling that's Martin, baby. Could be mistaken, but just judging by the smile, I'll try and pick him up. But, well, not the first time this innings we've seen bowling changes get the wicket, and absolute ripper there. Didn't really play either shot, actually. Just having a look, it might actually be, and we owe Tom Palouse an apology getting the change there, getting his wicket. And all of a sudden, well, I said I wasn't going to say it, viewers, but the reality is 7 down. If we finish, or if Glen Forrest, I should say, finish their innings within 30 minutes of the scheduled tea break, we'll take tea, but given that we're this early, it'll be just a change of innings.
Jack Jago, a man that strides out to the middle. Again, beating the outside edge, and is Paulus. Bowler.
Well, wide ball called there. Umpire Simon Wood just stretches his arms, enjoys the summer breeze. Well, that's back in where Forrestfield have been all day, in at the toes. Good length, good line. And Jago. Well, should be used to seeing spin. He is the wicket keeper for Glen Forrest. It's a question of how he handles it, though.
Well, just drop that one a little bit shorter. Nothing expansive from Jago. He gets through the over. 1 run and a wicket from it. 7 for 51.
Well, on a glorious day in Perth, you're here on the Community Sports Show with me, Noel Knowlesy Johnston and Donnie Bell. Well, Donnie, it's Forrestfield now changing tack. I've got a smile on my face. We've got a deep mid on and a deep mid off.
And Twomley takes them on. 1 bounce to the fielder and they just get the single. Maybe floats one up. Jago smashes it baseball style, but all the way along the ground, straight to the fielder for no run.
Step out to that one and just pull it through mid-wicket.
Takes on the infield on that occasion. They're going to come back for the second.
With plenty of time. Well, Glen Forrest now. I think the intent is clear, Donnie.
Well, they're really rushing through the overs at the moment as well. That one's wide down leg side. It's going to be no balls. A couple of them.
Oh, yeah. Umpire had his choice of decisions there. Well, plenty of room, able to get through for one easily. Twomley turns it over, brings Jack Jago on the strike.
He just punches it down the ground as well. They think about a second. Well, one player thought about the second.
Yeah, I don't think there was much thinking about it.
And Twomley certainly wasn't thinking about the second.
Well, Twomley now, 15 of 29.
Twomley gets underneath that. Well, no one's even moved. No one in the field moved a muscle as that one sails over the fence for 6.
Well, you give the ball enough flight, that's what can happen. And Twomley capitalising.
Well, that'll be the end of the over as well. A good one for Glen Forrest. Off at 13 off it.
Well, Scarrier got taken off after a 10 run over. Be interesting to see what happens at this end next over.
And Twomley moves to 21 off 30 with that 6. Loose to continue to Jago. Hits it straight to mid-wicket. Dives on the ground for no particular reason.
Big shout out to the Matildas in their win last night. Well, good correction there from the bowler Palouse.
Quickly back to his mark. In again on the on the stumps. He just defended up the pitch for another dot.
Well, not sure how you appeal for an LB when he's hit it to square leg, but he thought he'd ask anyway. Good run in there to be onto it. Jago quickly.
A quick single there. Twomley pretty clear in his core. Drops short, gets underneath it. No fielder out there, so it's safe. Going to have to run them. Not going to get to the fence. And just the 2.
Starting to loosen the shoulders up, Glen Forrest.
Last ball of the 24th over. And let go through to the keeper. So 7 for 67 after 24.
Looks like we're going to have another bowling change. Well, I did say what's going to happen. You can't give away a dozen runs and not be brought off. Praveen Varghese, the new bowler coming into the attack here for Forrestfield. It's a 17.1 average with the ball. But interestingly here, Donny, best bowling figures of 8 for 17. So if Glen Forrest thought they were out of the woods here now with this change of bowler, I'm not sure you can rest yet.
Best this summer of 2 for 50. He's got a couple of wickets so far this year. And starts with a dot. Go on strike. Wants to hit that one down to fine leg, but can't catch up with it. Just the wide.
We'll take that.
Easton again floats that one up a bit more, beats him with the flight. Past the outside edge. And again, pitch, turn, and again,
See previous
doesn't know
ball.
much about it here. KO.
Mid on, just comes towards the broadcast van, and that perhaps was a sense of gamesmanship there as he moved the outfielder around. He just served up a lolly and said, "I'll have a back, thank you." Well, 8 down now. Glen Forrest as Connor Van Zetti makes his way off. Challenge now, Zane Struthers. We're in the 44 this week. We luckily have 2 numbers for Zane. We didn't have number 60 last week though, Donny, so... Jack Jago back in the sheds. Zane Struthers. Well, let's just say he'll be optimistic. Got a golden duck last week. Keen to avoid that this week. Praveen Varghese.
Well, I bet he won't be leaving the first delivery. It was one of those embarrassing... Well, he does leave the first delivery. But it doesn't crash into the stumps like it did last week.
Well, confidently left. Confidently left. And the second. Well, Zane Struthers representing the 6.056 out there for Glen Forrest at the moment. He joins Dan Twomley.
Well, Twomley, you'd feel like he's got to try and farm the strike at this point. And Struthers and Patrick Flanders in the sheds. The only 2 remaining batters. So any score that they're going to build, any defendable total that they can build is going to be on the rest solely on the shoulders of Dan Twomley. Let's see what he can do. Down leg side, whips that one away. That'll be 4.
That's handy. His teammate saying a bit less on leg side, please. Just worked off the legs there by Twomley. No one behind square, so races away for 4. He moves to 27 not out now, Dan Twomley. Of just 33 balls according to Play HQ, so...
That's what I've got as well, so... Nice one, we agree.
It is indeed very satisfying, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's seeing the scores line up, going, oh, what did I miss? Well, he hasn't bowled too many poor deliveries so far. He makes the correction there. Just ball loose. That one's edged! Beats the keeper, between the keeper and the slip fielder. And they'll come through for 2.
Chased down by Scaria there. Well, when you get a life, you've got to capitalise on it.
Just a dot to follow up. Gets a bit leg side-ish, and again they'll push for a couple. It's a long chase for the fielder. They should come back for a third, and do. I don't think they've got the energy to run a fourth, so they settle for 3.
We may or may not have referenced someone's desire to run.
Some changes in the field as they bring a few up to put the pressure on Struthers. They'll have to negotiate one delivery, and does so with another leave. It's his favourite shot. So we found out. There we go. I think there was 9 from that one. 8 for 77 after 26. Conway, as we said, farming the strike. Only gave one delivery for Struthers to negotiate.
32 not out off 37, Dan Twomley. Lane Struthers still looking to get off the duck.
Well, it's hard to say it's been chanceless from Twomley, the edge in that over. He's hasn't been the most assured innings, but he's built 32 off 37. And he's still there, which is the key point for his side. Geese in again. And just pushes the single, and they take the one. I don't know
that's not a bad outcome for Forrestfield, getting the new batsman Struthers on strike.
I'd agree with that. They won't be too disappointed to concede that single early in the over. Gives them 4 consecutive deliveries at Struthers. A couple of dots.
The dive there from the skipper, Manachia. And another watched into the gloves by Struthers.
Well, he's got that on the ball a couple of times in this over, and leaves another one through to the keeper.
Stoically.
It's impressive to watch. So end of the over. Just that one run from it. But Struthers does well. Gets through the over without too much fuss.
And another bowling change coming into effect here, Donny. It's going to be the captain, Michael Manachia, coming into the attack for Forrestfield.
5 overs, 1 for 10 in his opening spell. And this is a big moment in the match. They're trying to finish it off, going back to the top of the bowling order. We'll have to get through Twomley first. He's 33 off 39 in the bedrock so far for Glen Forrest in their 8 for 78. One off a thickish outside edge. Backward point, no run. Here and again. Well, it's in the air, it's going to fall just short of the fielder. They're going to take the run on. If that hits, it's probably not too far away, but they get through for the single. Plenty happening in that delivery, Halsey.
Absolutely, Johnny. And the confidence of Forrestfield to still take a shot at the stumps there, well backed up. They really are just putting the pressure on, and now that all transfers across to Zane Struthers.
Watchful defends. Gets right in behind it there, Struthers.
Thought about leaving it, chose not to.
Good decision.
Sorry, I had to do it, Zane.
You've got to love the Aussie way. You make one mistake and you never live it down.
Oh, no, absolutely. And there's a bloke at Middle Swan who shall remain nameless, but is known to the Middle Swan players, made the mistake of asking for a nickname. Now, Aussie thing is everyone gets a nickname, but generally they're given to you, you don't ask for it. And he's a police officer.
Yep.
Needless to say, it was not a complimentary nickname that he now has.
Oof.
Oh, well. Big swing, no ding.
What's the first shot in anger from Struthers? In 10 deliveries. Just through to the keeper. I think the better one, there's a couple of rugby league players that have given themselves nicknames, which I don't think you're allowed to do that either. Another one beats the outside edge to finish that over.
Yeah, I'm not sure look, I'm trying to give some blokes nicknames through the show as we see them out and about. Matt Sadler, I thought I'd call Rodeo because of saddle, and a couple of weeks ago he went for a lot of runs off a few bats. So I said he's in for a short ride, not a long one. But it didn't stick, so I've given up.
Well, there's a bit of thought that's gone into that. It makes sense to me.
Yeah, but it wasn't well received. Praveen Varghese continues from the broadcast end as Elias gives us a wave. Twomley on strike.
Varghese into his third over. Just a dot there.
8 for 73, Glen Forrest. Here on this round 4 match. Got some bat on that, fortunately for Twomley. Badly brought to you thanks to our friends at Vision Decor, an idea athletic, with some love from Ashby Farrell, White Arch, and Barnard Construction as well. No love there from Twomley for that ball as he leaves it alone.
Geese again rushing through this over. It's in the air, it's wide of the fielder, it's going to race down to the fence. That's 4 more.
Well placed there, Ketchapilli unable to get across and affect the catch. But the positive there for Forrestfield, they've got Twomley playing up.
Well, he hasn't been too afraid to play his shots, Twomley, that's for sure. He moves on to 38 of 45 deliveries. Quite a few of those coming in boundaries. He pushes that one into the cover region for no run.
Short ball.
Darted that one.
Yep. Takes his lead from Struthers and leaves that one. We're over in the book.
Well, 4 runs from it.
Well, 8 for 83, Donny. I called the Netherlands not getting 100. I'm going to back Glen Forrest here just to get over that mark here today.
Well, 17 short with 2 wickets in hand. Struthers on strike, facing the Forrestfield captain. He's got a full over to negotiate. Oof, well, the bat was close enough to it, but I think he just pulled it away at the last minute.
Yep. Not the safest method, but can work.
And a cheer into Struthers, outside off. That allows him to leave it. And he's quite happy to leave where he can and just let his mate down the other end do the scoring, the bulk of it. Oh, well, that one just goes over the top of the off stump. Thinks belatedly about taking a single and is told very quickly to turn around.
Well, the challenge here for Glen Forrest just to keep Forrestfield out in this field for as long as they can. Not hot conditions, but if you can keep a side out there.
Oh, it can be very frustrating when you get a team 8 down and you have to stay out for another 15 overs or something like that. There's another one allowed through to the keeper. Struthers doing his best to negotiate the first 4 deliveries this Manichaea over.
And over number 1, Forrestfield 6 for 77.
Cheer in again, outside off, and that one's called as a wide.
Well, that breeze definitely picking up here at the moment, Donny. Big open expanse, although that said, I'm looking across to our right. That game already in the shed, so they'll be all out. Unless they're very slow on their over rates and taking drinks.
Again, he's been more than happy.
Well, that puts the pressure on the bowlers and the fielders to actually do something about that. So, you know, we mentioned before Ben Morgan struggling to survive. Zane Struthers showing him how.
Just the wide off that over, so not quite a maiden. Buggies continues. 30 overs gone. 8 for 84.
Got 3 men out on the deep on the leg side, deep square leg, deep mid wicket, and that one.
The fielder will have to cut it off again using the soccer skills, and they take 2. Twomley moves to 40. Some slight changes in the field. He floats another one up. It'll beat the cover fielder again. They'll just take the single on this occasion though. And deep mid off.
Well, taking advantage there, Twomley, good running. Oh.
There's a fielder racing in from deep mid wicket to come inside the circle.
And that was a lot of action for another dot. Umpire Simon Wood adjudicating that one to be fair.
Yes, again. On with the stumps. Struthers looking for his first run and he's off the mark. It was taking him 19 deliveries. He finally gets one to his name. Adds another to the total here. For his side. That one on leg stump, pulled away. That'll be four.
I think it's fair to say he likes him there.
I think most people like him there. But must be said, Forrestfield haven't given them a lot in that sort of area that where it is very hittable.
As we wait for the ball back, Johnny, I can tell you, Yokai and Pilbara up against Mount Lawley Inglewood, they're actually having a worse day of it. They're 9 now for 84. Always look at the glass half full if you're Glen Forrest there.
It could be worse. Normally plays that one back up the pitch for a dot to end the over. That's 31 in the book, 8 for 92.
Yep. Yokai and Pilbara 9 for 84 off 27.5. Brabham 6 for 116 in the 27th over there. But the story of the afternoon, Coolbinia West Perth, currently in the 31st over, up against Midland. Coolbinia West Perth 2 for 142. They're having the standout match of the day so far.
It's a different kind of match as we've got a change in the bowling. Sibin Matthew is back into the attack. Old 5 overs, 2 for 9 in his first spell. If he can replicate that, this will be all over. Dot ball on that occasion, bowling to Struthers. He's now 1 off 20. So Matthew on the pads. You have to say going down leg. There's another LBW appeal is turned down.
That one just squeezed inside the line behind on the leg side there. Another dot for Sibin Matthew.
Well, he's flirted with that leg side line, and this time it is called as a wide.
9 for 92 now.
That one's close, and again the shake of the head.
Well, he's definitely earning his money here at the moment. Umpire Simon Wood gives Zane Struthers another chance.
I feel like that was the tightest of the ones that we've seen.
Struthers trying to work it down leg side, can't get it away. Big shout out to you all wherever you are. You're here on the Community Sports Show. Thanks to ID Athletic and Vision Decor.
That's the end of that over. And it was just that wide down leg side, the only run coming from it. for 93 after 32.
Well, 8 overs till the end of the innings. Donny, can they survive?
I'll tell you what, you wouldn't back against Zane Struthers. So he's been pretty stoic. 25 deliveries, 1 run. He's held up his end of the bargain. I'd like to see him rotate the strike a little more, but I think you're right. Just surviving and being out there and allowing Twomley to do the scoring down the other end. I'm going to say yes. It'll be Twomley on strike. Bits and Baby on the bowl. Just a 2-over spell for 15 first time around. That one's in the air. Fielder coming around will do well to stop it. And
Does.
I think he has kept it inside the markers. So just the 2 runs.
Right next to the Glen Forrest bench there, so they would have said something if it was across. That applause not on this ground. Oh dear.
Again, whacked away. He'll come back for another 2. He moves to 49 or 53, Twomley. Just 1 away from a half century as again they make some changes in the field. He hits that one out to the deep and that will be his 50. That's 50 for Dan Twomley. Well made. Important for his team. 50 off 54 deliveries. Now they again fielders running in. That's full. Oh, it's just put down at mid-wicket. Would have been a screamer.
Well, Zane Struthers there, as he's made his way up to the umpire, said, what about the height? Well, sorry Zane, you walked up to that one. Tough chance.
Well, it would have been a great catch if he had held on to it. Did well just to get hands on it. Did Varghese. Twomley works that one around. That should be 4. That's going to beat the fielder, you would think. 4 more runs to Twomley, and that's the 100 brought up.
There's Bryce Hatch online, father of Tom, who was out earlier for 8, says, well battered DT. It is indeed well battered. And he's also suggesting that Will Maddock will take a 5 for... Well, he says actually 7 for...
Well, he might
Bryce,
need to.
if he does, I'll buy you drinks later tonight.
You predicted 20 runs ago that they were going to make it to 100, and they have. Haven't let you down, Noel. He gets to that one on the full. That probably would have been a no ball if he didn't. Chips that down. Probably could have got 2, but they're happy with the single. Twin that over. Pretty good one for Glen Forrest. As they brought up the 100, Twomley brought up his 50.
Well, Yoko and Pilbara all out for 100 there against Mount Lawley Inglewood, so that match in close quarters. Brabham are 9 down for 139 against Carlisle. While Coolbinia West Perth 2 for 168. I had to check my eyes there. Well, Twomley brought up the 50. That's a good knock, I think, in these conditions.
Absolutely. When you sort of look at that scorecard, it stands out. He's the only one to get to double figures so far today. He sits alone, 55 off 56 so far. Again, did well just to knock that down. They kind of thought about coming back for the second. He wanted to keep the strike, but wisely decides against that.
I think that was Everest there getting a hand on it.
Hips down the ground with a bit of force there, Struthers, but mid-on is up, so no run. As Matthew continues. Another dot. Matthew full, and that is the end of Struthers. He's knocked over for 2 of 29 deliveries, and it's a third wicket for Sibin Matthew.
Well, he didn't leave it. He tried to work it around the leg side, but Matthew on that occasion just finding the hole in the wall.
Well, it's been a good knock from Sibin Matthew, 3 for 11. Going at 1.65 and over. That should see Patrick Flanders, the lone man left in the shed, making his way out. 9 for 105. $37-run stand there between Struthers and Twomley. Even though Struthers only got 2 of them, he played a role.
Did it well. All the pressure now on Patrick Flanders.
Well, 2 deliveries to negotiate. I'd be backing Sibin Matthew. He'll put this full straight right at the stumps. You'll have to use that stick. There it is. Off the outside edge, he negotiates the first one, Flanders. Last delivery, the 34th over. He whips that one off the pads to mid-wicket. Not a bad looking shot there from Patrick Flanders. It is another dot to finish the over though. A successful one for Forrestfield. 9 for 105. 1 run from that over.
And Twomley shown as 56 or 57 here at the moment. Has definitely been the standout, Donny. And once again for Glen, Forrest Sundries in the second spot on the scorers list. What would Twomley be saying here to Flanders?
Well,
If I call you run?
Absolutely. He's going to want to have most of the strike, I think. He's going to run 2s. Or they're not going to run at all. There's a change in the bowling. Manjaroon back in.
Well,
That's an inside edge. No fielder down there, so should get the 2, and they will.
well, Brabham all out 144 in their match up against Carlisle. So both those matches that I mentioned should be going back out to bat.
Nice shot there.
A nice shot by Twomley. Much needed boundary for Glen Forrest.
Manjura back into the attack. Twomley's into him. Just defends that one, and they're going to take the single. So showing some faith in Flanders to get through the last couple of deliveries of this over.
And a score update from Peter Sharp there at the A Division 1-day grade. Midland up against Coolbinia West Perth. Midland currently 9 for 162.
Gets through the first. One delivery left in this over. Down leg side. And end of the over.
I like how we were both waiting for the answer to come up there. Well, a good fight back here by Glen Forrest. And Praveen Varghese. Ah, dear Praveen, that's a fine. I'll mention that during the comments later.
Yes, thank you.
That's a boomerang. Donny. Well, Twomley on strike here. You just get the feeling that another 10, 15 runs would be really handy for the visitors at the moment.
Well, I mean, that's their aim right now, is just to try and build any sort of total that's defendable. Wide there.
Courtesy of that one.
Matthew, that one going down.
No, they know better than to ask there. They sort of half-asked and then went, no. Umpire Simon Wood doing a great job out there, despite what Jacob Burns suggested earlier.
That one's in the air, it's a chance. They should take it, they do take it. And that's the end of a very good knock from Daniel Twomley. He's gone for 63, and that closes out the innings. Matthew finishing with 4 for 12.
Well, they had to have a go at it there, Dan Twomley. He'll be disappointed for himself, but interesting here, we'll check with the umpire, because I still have it as more than 30 minutes until the scheduled afternoon tea break, so we'll just confirm whether they're going to do a innings change or take tea. Can't get much of a read on the situation there, viewers, so we'll just quickly run through the scorers for Glen Forrest. They're far and few between. Dan Twomley, the standout. All out for 112, Glen Forrest. 113 required for victory by Forrestfield. Will Maddock 5, Elijah Liss 2, Tarquin Mars out leg before for 3. Alex Somas mounted some resistance for 8. Ben Morgan did not survive and out for 0. Sorry, Benny. Tom Hatch with 8 off 22. Connor Vanzetti with 1 for his name. 4 to Jack Jago. 2 for Zane Struthers. Patrick Flanders not out on a duck, but the standout has to be Dan Twomley, 63 off 66, including, I'll just double check that.
63 or 63.
6 4s and 1 6, so good knock to Dan Twomley. And in the bowling stakes, let's just have a quick look there. 4 to Sibin Matthew, 4 for 12 off 7.2, 2 to Linson Catchapilli, and then singles to Manjaran, Manachia, Palouse and Varghese to round out the bowling line-up there. We'll take a break, viewers, just because we may be back in a few minutes' time. We'll make sure you stay with us wherever you are here on the Community Sports Show with Donnie Bell and me, Noel Nosey Johnston. See you soon.